There are no coincidences in this universe. No click is ever random. Every movement, even as small as a breath, is part of a divine design guided by an invisible hand. And if you are hearing these words right now, it is not by chance. It is divine timing. The sacred moment when God wants you to pause, listen, and remember that you were chosen long ago. Perhaps you have lived through days when your heart felt crushed by the pain of betrayal. The one you trusted most turned their back on you. They hurt you, then played the victim. They retold your story in a way that made you the sinner. They laughed as others believed their lies, while you stayed silent, not out of weakness, but because your soul knew that true justice does not come from human hands. Psalm 37:6 says, "He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn." And that light, the very light they tried to extinguish, will rise again, no matter how many times the world tries to cover you in darkness. As you walked through those long days, maybe you asked God, "Why? Why must I endure this when I have done nothing wrong?" The answer did not come through a voice, but through signs. A dream, a number repeating again and again, a quiet sense that something greater is moving. It is not an illusion. It is the first seal, the number 111, the number of new beginnings, of an awakened soul. When you see 111, it is a whisper from above saying, "It is time to step into your new chapter. You are no longer who you once were. The wounds they gave you have shaped you into someone deeper, stronger, and closer to God than ever before." But remember, every awakening begins with a fall. You must lose something, your reputation, your love, or your trust, to learn how to see the light with your inner eyes. They thought that by destroying you, they would win. They thought that by silencing you, your story would end. But they forgot that God is the final storyteller. He rewrites everything, and He misses no detail. When they lied, God heard. When they accused, God witnessed. When you cried in silence, He counted every tear. And there is one thing betrayers will never understand. God never sleeps through injustice. He saw how they twisted the truth to save themselves. He saw how they pretended to be victims while they were the ones causing pain. But God does not look only at actions. He sees the intentions in the heart. And in their hearts, He saw envy, pride, and darkness. There were nights you stayed awake, trying to understand what happened. You thought, if I speak, will anyone believe me? If I explain, will anyone listen? But in those moments, when despair almost swallowed your soul, you began to realize something: you were never truly alone. God was not watching from afar. He was right there, in every breath you took, in every heartbeat. He did not intervene immediately, because He was letting the truth reveal its own power. And then one day, you began to notice something strange. The ones who hurt you no longer seemed at peace. Their faces changed when your name was mentioned. They smiled, but their eyes were empty. They grew restless, unsure why, but their souls knew. Because divine justice does not come through accusation, it comes through knowing silence. In that silence, God is working. He is turning everything in ways no human can foresee. Those who thought they had won are digging their own graves, while you, the one they tried to destroy, are being quietly lifted by His hand. Not for revenge, but to prove that light needs no defense. It only needs to exist. One day, you will stand before the mirror and see someone new looking back. No longer the broken one, no longer the misunderstood, but a soul refined by fire. You will understand that every pain was a sacred part of the journey, from ashes to light. Psalm 18:28 says, "The Lord keeps my lamp burning. My God turns my darkness into light." It is in that darkness that your flame of faith begins to burn brighter than ever. When you step out of the storm, you carry no anger, only a deep stillness. Not the stillness of one who suffers, but the peace of one who has seen something greater than man, the judgment of heaven. The universe begins to realign. What was once twisted starts to fall into place. Those who once believed lies begin to question what they defended. Light always finds its way back, and when it shines, all pretense disappears. You may not see it clearly today, but remember, the dawn never appears right after the night. It takes time to rise, and in that quiet moment before the light breaks through, God is preparing your justice. They will say you have changed, that you are cold, that you are no longer the same. But they do not know that you have not changed. You have awakened. You no longer need to be seen, because you have already been seen by God, and in His gaze, everything becomes clear. No need for defense, no need for revenge. Just stand still and let God's justice do its work. Psalm 62:1 says, "Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him." You have endured enough, and now it is time for Him to act. Let that wind, the wind of divine dawn, pass through your heart. Let old wounds be washed in new light. Let your soul remember this truth. You are not their victim. You are the evidence of grace. And when the light rises, when everything returns to its rightful place, you will understand God did not only see, He is rewriting. He did not only witness, He is rebirthing you, because you are the chosen one. And the first chapter of your restoration has begun. Beyond the fragile dawn of faith lies a darkened sky. Not because God has forgotten you, but because the darkness must appear before the light can be revealed. Betrayal never arrives with thunder, but with whispers, with quiet words sharp as blades. You once trusted them, opened your heart, shared the deepest parts of your soul, and then one day, those sacred things were twisted, distorted, and turned into weapons against you. They did not only stab you in the back, they smiled while doing it. They even believed that God would stand on their side. They built their stories and acted in them as perfect victims. People believed them because they cried, because they knew how to appear broken. But there was one witness who saw behind the curtain, God Himself. He watched every detail of that play. Every time they blurred the line between truth and lies, every glance of contempt they threw your way. Psalm 27:12 says, "Do not turn me over to the desire of my foes, for false witnesses rise up against me, spouting malicious accusations." That verse echoes in your heart like a warning bell, reminding you that God already knew long before it happened. At first, you tried to fight back. You wanted to speak the truth, to prove your innocence. But the harder you tried, the deeper you sank into the mud of false accusations. Every word you said was twisted, turned, and thrown back at you like another arrow. In the end, you chose silence. Not because you lost, but because your soul understood. Truth does not need to shout. It only needs time. They dragged your name through the dirt, spread rumors, created facts that never existed. They wanted the world to doubt you, to see you bow your head, crushed under the weight of lies. Some say malice is born from weakness, but no. Sometimes malice is a choice. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they enjoyed the power it gave them to watch you fall. Each day felt like the world was against you. Wherever you went, you heard whispers. People looked at you as if you were a reflection of something they could not understand. They talked, they judged, and you wondered, did any of them ever truly know who you were? Or did they only see the distorted image built by those who betrayed you? Sometimes at night, you wanted to cry out and ask God, "Do you see this?" And in the stillness, a gentle voice echoed in your heart, "I see. I always see." That assurance did not come through miracles, but through a quiet, knowing deep in your soul, the feeling that you were being protected, even when no one else believed it. You could not see it, but around you were invisible arms, a wall of light guarding you from despair. Then one seemingly ordinary day, you saw that number again, 111, on a clock, on a license plate, in a passing line of text. At first, you thought it was coincidence, but your soul knew. There are no coincidences in God's guidance. That number returned as a seal of rebirth, a reminder that every loss is only a pause before a new door opens. And then the storm rose. No longer whispers behind your back, but open attacks. They tried to destroy your work, take your relationships, even place upon you the very sins they had committed. They wanted to see you fall completely, to see you isolated, broken. But what they did not know was that God was using the storm itself to strengthen you. When everyone left, He stayed. When you could trust no one, He whispered, "Trust me." When you hit the bottom, He said, "Look up." One night, you dreamed of walking down a long, fog-covered road. Beyond the mist was light, but the path was filled with mocking laughter, familiar faces. You walked in silence, step by step, and when the light touched your skin, you knew you were not alone. A hand held yours, warm and steady. That dream was no illusion. It was a message, reminding you that God was still there, right in the middle of the storm. Psalm 31:8 says, "You have not given me into the hands of the enemy, but have set my feet in a spacious place." A spacious place, that is where God is leading you, away from the shadows of deceit. As time passes, you begin to notice something strange. Everything they did to destroy you becomes a mirror revealing their true nature. Their bitter words start to cost them trust. Their schemes slowly unravel. You do not need to do anything. Justice moves on its own, slow but certain, silent yet powerful. Perhaps they still believe they have won. But you know the truth. God is writing a new chapter for you, and they are only shadows in the opening lines. Because with God, no defeat is ever final, only a test to prove your faith. One morning, you wake up and realize your heart no longer hurts the way it used to. The anger has faded, the shame no longer burns. In its place is a quiet peace, a deep belief that everything has a purpose. And in that stillness, you understand, you did not lose them. You were freed from them. The storm took much from you, but it also washed your soul clean, leaving behind a purity no one can buy. Those who once mocked you now close their eyes to the truth. They are consumed by their own lies, while you, though still bearing scars, walk lighter. As the final light breaks through the clouds, you know you are being led to a new place, where everything lost will be restored, not by human hands, but by the hand of God. Psalm 62:12 declares, "And you, Lord, are loving. Surely you will reward each person according to what they have done. They will receive their portion, and so will you. No curses, no hatred, for the justice of heaven needs no proof, only faith. Let them speak, let them perform, for soon, when the curtain falls, only light will remain, and in that light you will rise, not with a heavy heart, but with a soul refined, sharp as a sword, and gentle as water, because in the end, the very storm they created brought you closer to God. And in that closeness, you finally understand, every betrayal was an invitation from God, calling you back to yourself. After the raging storm, a heavy silence falls. No more arguments, no more accusations, only emptiness. A stillness so deep you can hear your own heartbeat. In that moment, you think it's all over. No one stands beside you, no hand reaches out. The faces that once felt familiar now live only in memory. Yet within that emptiness, something begins to stir. You start to hear what you could not hear before, the whisper of God. Isolation is not punishment, it is an invitation to withdraw from the noise of the world, so your soul can be reborn in quiet. When you lose everything on the outside, only then can you hear the voice within. And in that solitude, God whispers, "I have never left you." Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Those words shine through like sunlight breaking through clouds. You begin to understand that loneliness is not emptiness, but preparation. God is separating you from the crowd to shape you in the silence. At first, you struggle. Each morning, you wake with the fear of being forgotten. Memories of betrayal return like waves, crashing again and again against your heart. You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? But as the days pass, you start to feel something different. Not the same pain, but a quiet awakening, as if your spiritual eyes are beginning to open. Isolation is where God performs His greatest work. He does not create miracles in noise, He creates them in stillness. You begin to notice small signs, a breeze brushing gently against your hair, a song playing at just the right moment, a stranger saying the words your heart needed to hear. Nothing is random. Everything is a soft answer from God. Yet even in peace, there are nights when the darkness tries to pull you back. Voices whisper, "Everyone has forgotten you. You are nobody. You have lost everything." And you fall to your knees, tears streaming endlessly. But then, in that moment, another voice rises, deeper, warmer, stronger, from within your heart. "You are mine. You were never lost." Those words stop your tears. Warmth spreads through your body like a small flame rekindled after long ashes. You realize you were never truly alone, only separated from the noise, so you could hear the sacred call more clearly. And then the number 222 appears on your phone screen, on a license plate, on a small receipt in your hand. You pause. Your soul knows it's not a coincidence. 222, the number of balance, the reminder that you are not alone. The universe sends you a message that while everything seems to be falling apart, divine order is being rebuilt. Every loss is a setup. Every silence is another way for God to speak. In that moment, Your heart begins to soften. You no longer need to prove yourself, no longer need to be recognized. You simply need to be, to breathe, because deep inside, you know there is one who sees, who remembers, who loves. Psalm 46:1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." Those words become real, no longer ink on a page, but living truth flowing through you. You begin to talk with Him, not with formal prayers, but with honesty from the heart. "God, I'm so tired." And within, He answers, "I know, but you are learning to fly." Day by day, night by night, you begin to change. Silence is no longer frightening. It becomes home. You find peace in the smallest things. The sound of leaves rustling, the light of morning, the warmth of a cup of tea. Every small thing becomes a reminder that God is still here. And as that peace grows, you begin to feel a new kind of strength. Not the strength of ego, but the strength of faith. You understand that you do not need to fight the world, because there is one who fights for you. Psalm 62:5 says, "Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from Him." You read it one morning and realize, true hope does not come from people, but from the stillness that knows everything, is part of a divine plan. If you are hearing these words and feel that same loneliness in your heart, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Know that you are being called, not to despair, but to awaken. If this message touches you, share it, not to spread pain, but to pass on hope, because someone out there may be walking through the same desert you once crossed, and they need a light to remind them they are not alone. Isolation is not the end. It is the doorway to rebirth. In the wilderness, God speaks. In silence, He teaches you to listen. In the darkness, He teaches you to see with the eyes of your soul. One night, you look up at the sky and see countless stars. The wind brushes through your hair, carrying the feeling of freedom. You smile, not because everything is fixed, but because you know God is here with you in the desert. You are no longer afraid of the dark, because now you understand it is in darkness that you learn to recognize the light. It is in loneliness that you learn to love yourself. And it is in silence that you hear the eternal whisper, "You are mine, and I am here." That morning, the sky looked washed clean after a long rain. Fragile sunlight fell gently upon the earth, slow and tender, like a quiet promise. You stepped outside, still carrying the weight of days filled with misunderstanding. Yet somewhere deep within, something was changing. There was no more fear, no more asking, why? Only a silent gratitude. Because for the first time in so long, you could feel the light returning. The people who once slandered you, who twisted your story, are still there, but their eyes have changed. You no longer try to explain yourself. You stand still and the truth speaks on its own. God has been working in silence, and now He lets the light speak for Him. Psalm 7-9 says, "O righteous God, who searches minds and hearts." Those words have become your breath. You understand now that nothing can be hidden from His sight. Not a single lie, not a single deceitful plan, not a single false smile. And truly, little by little, truth begins to rise from the ground. The lies they once planted, like seeds that rotted in the soil, now crack open to reveal their real nature. People start to see the flaws, the contradictions, the careful deceit that once brought you down. Those who turned away now watch quietly. They do not speak, but their eyes tell a different story. Some come to you, admitting they were wrong. Others avoid your gaze, unable to bear the weight of their own conscience. You no longer need many words. Your silence has become your strongest proof. Because the justice of God does not arrive with thunder, it comes like the dawn, slow but unstoppable. One night, you sit alone, watching a candle burn low on the table. Its light trembles in the wind, but it does not go out. You look at the flame and see yourself in it. They tried to blow out your light, breathing lies against it, but God kept it alive. Though small, it is enough to light the whole room. In that moment, you understand, truth never dies. It can be buried, it can be covered, but eventually, it returns, just as the sun always breaks through the darkest clouds. And then, God shows you something remarkable. Those who hurt you begin to trip over their own contradictions. They lie to cover a lie, then tell another to hide what they already said. The knots they tied are now tightening around them. The words they planted turned back against them. You never wished for this. Divine justice simply balances itself. Psalm 33:4 says, "For the word of the Lord is right and true. He is faithful in all he does." And in that faithfulness, you see his hand rewriting the story, not as revenge, but as a lesson to the world about truth. Slowly, those who once pushed you down now stumble over the same stones they threw. You do not laugh, you do not feel triumph, because your soul has already outgrown that. You simply stand and watch quietly. Something within you has become calm, deeply at peace. You understand that God's justice does not come to satisfy anger, but to restore the order of light. From afar, people begin to whisper, "Maybe we were wrong," and you smile, not because they admit it, but because truth has returned to its rightful place. The number 111, the mark of new beginnings, appears again, not to comfort this time, but to confirm. You are on the right path. The pain you once carried is no longer a wound, but a sacred mark, etched into your soul, proving that light always prevails, even after walking through hell. One evening, as the sunset paints the sky red, a wave of peace fills your heart. You close your eyes and imagine God's hand resting gently on your shoulder. No anger, no resentment, only gratitude, because you understand, without darkness, you would never have learned to see the light. Psalm 18:30 says, "As for God, his way is perfect. The Lord's word is flawless. He shields all who take refuge in him." You read that verse and realize that everything that once collapsed your reputation, your relationships, your trust, were only layers. The one thing that remained, the one thing that could never be stolen, is faith. That faith is no longer fragile. It stands firm, quiet, and radiant. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to reclaim your name or demand an apology. Because when God testifies for you, no human voice can deny it. And in this season, you begin to notice other souls, those who too have been misunderstood, who have carried deep wounds. You see their pain reflected in the eyes you once had, and you begin to speak to them in the language of compassion, not out of pity, but from understanding. You tell them, "Have faith, because God sees everything." And so, the circle of light expands. One healed soul becomes the guide for another. One who finds the light will shine it for those still lost. This is how truth multiplies, from one chosen heart to the next. That night, you stand beneath the starry sky, feeling a rare peace. You realize you no longer need to defend yourself, because truth has risen on its own. God has seen, he has known, and now he allows the world to see. No more tears, only the quiet breath of a soul set free. You understand now, even if the betrayers keep hiding their sins, it is too late. Light cannot be covered forever. And in the final breath of the night, a verse echoes in your heart. Psalm 85:10. Mercy and truth have met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed. In that moment, you know that everything has begun to turn. Truth, once buried deep, has risen again. And you, once surrounded by deceit, have become a witness of the light. There are mornings when no one needs to tell you anything, yet you can feel something moving in the unseen world, as if the wind has changed direction, as if light is beginning to reach into the hidden corners long covered by shadows. It is a faint but powerful feeling. Justice is awakening, not the kind of justice born of human hands, late, flawed, and biased. This is divine justice, slow but absolute. It needs no evidence, because God has seen everything. Every action, every word, every thought has been written in his invisible book. And when the time comes, each page will be turned, leaving nothing unread. You did not ask for this, but you can feel it clearly. Balance is being restored. Psalm 9:7 says, "The Lord reigns forever. He has established his throne for judgment." And now, that throne is no longer distant. He is taking his seat to judge all that was twisted, to restore justice to every wounded soul. Those who once slandered you begin to tremble, not because they have been exposed, but because their souls know something is drawing near. They feel watched, as if the invisible eyes of heaven are following their every move. They lose sleep, they avoid mirrors, and when they see you, they look away. Not because you are stronger, but because the light of God within you makes them unable to face themselves. One of them approaches you, trying to smile, pretending nothing ever happened. But your soul has grown too calm for anger. You simply look at them in silence, and in that silence, they see something they cannot comprehend, the light of forgiveness. Though not of forgetting, you forgive not because they deserve it, but because you refuse to carry their burden on your path to peace. And as you walk through this season of transformation, the number 222 appears again, clear and meaningful this time. On a coffee receipt, on a clock, on a street sign, you smile. You know it is heaven's message. Balance has been restored. The number 2 symbolizes duality, light and dark, trial and reward. When 3 appear together, it is heaven's assurance that you were never fighting alone. God begins to send new people into your life, not to replace anyone, but to complete what your soul has been missing. They see you not through rumors, but through your real light. They do not need you to prove anything. They simply want your presence. And among these souls, you rediscover what you thought was lost: trust. Meanwhile, those who once tried to harm you now live in fear. No hand has touched them, yet their minds are imprisoned by their own guilt. Each night, they hear the echo of their lies, the weight of their deceit. They dream of you, not as an enemy, but as a mirror reflecting their sin. You did not wish for this, but God's justice does not ask for permission. He simply does what is right. One day, you hear news about them, their losses, their troubles, the unexpected turns in their lives. You remain silent. You feel neither joy nor sadness, because you understand this is not revenge, but heaven's lesson. Every seed of deceit they planted has now grown into thorns in their own path. Psalm 37:28 declares, "For the Lord loves justice and will not forsake his faithful ones." And indeed, you feel that love surrounding you. Not a sweet love, but a protective one. The kind that lets you walk among crowds without fear. You begin to understand more deeply that every trial was not meant to break you, but to prepare you for a higher level. Just as iron must pass through fire to become a sword, your soul must pass through storms to grow strong. In the quiet of night, you remember it all. The times you were misunderstood, the moments you wanted to give up, the tears you hid so no one would see, and you whisper, "Thank you, God." Because without the darkness, you would never have known how powerful the light within you truly is. Now, as you look back, you see that nothing was meaningless. Even the pain carried purpose. It led you to faith, and faith led you to a peace the world could never give. Then, one morning, as sunlight touches your skin, a verse rises within your heart, a message from heaven itself. Psalm 89:14. "Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Love and faithfulness go before you." That verse sends a shiver through you, because it is no longer words on a page, but a living truth. You walk forward, neither rushing nor afraid, trusting that everything is being arranged. And once again, you see that light, not around you, but shining from within your own soul. It is the light of one who has learned that justice does not need to be demanded, only believed. The universe begins to turn. What was broken is being restored. What was twisted is being straightened. And in this divine motion, you stand at the center, calm and steady, living proof that God never forgets his chosen ones. Divine justice does not knock with noise. It arrives in the silence of souls that are ready. And now you are ready, because everything that was taken from you is returning, purer, brighter, and perfectly timed. You smile, look toward the sky and whisper, "I surrender it all to you." And in the wind, you feel the answer, not in words, but in perfect peace. "I have seen, I have heard, and now I am moving." There are questions that remain in your heart. Why did they do it? Why did they choose destruction instead of love? That question once kept you awake at night, burning through your mind like fire in the dark. But when the light of truth began to spread, you started to see more clearly, not what they did, but why they did it. The darkness within them did not begin with hatred, but with envy. Psalm 31:20 says, "You hide them in the shelter of your presence, safe from those who conspire against them." Those words suddenly became real for you, because God does not only protect the body, he guards the soul from the poisoned arrows of jealousy. They saw the light within you, and instead of being illuminated, they were burned by it. Your light reminded them of the parts they had lost, the pure, honest, and brave parts they had long abandoned, and that was what made them afraid. You did nothing to provoke them. You simply existed, living true to the light God placed within you. But to souls that have not been healed, the light of another becomes a mirror, reflecting their own darkness. They saw your strength, your grace, your blessings, and instead of being inspired, they let it feed their envy. Envy is a sweet kind of darkness. It begins as admiration, then turns into poison. They wanted what you had, but refused to walk the path you walked. They wanted your faith, but not the loneliness, the trials, and the tears that forged it. So, in the weakness of their spirit, they chose the easier way, to destroy the light they could not possess. Psalm 73:6 says, "Therefore, pride is their necklace. They clothe themselves with violence. And indeed, they wear the cloak of arrogance. They believe they can hide their guilt beneath perfection. But God does not look at the cloak. He looks at the heart." As time passes, you begin to see the law of the universe. Every false word they spoke became a blade that turned back toward them. Every cruel plan they made was a seed of suffering planted in their own soil. You never asked for this. It is simply the sacred law of divine justice. Then one day, you hear of their troubles, their work falling apart, their relationships breaking, their health declining. You stay silent, neither joyful nor bitter, because your soul understands. This is not punishment, it is purification. God is letting them see themselves, not to destroy, but to awaken. And in that moment, you begin to see the number 555, the number of divine transformation. You see it first on a road sign along a quiet path, then in a dream, then again and again, until you can no longer ignore it. That number is not just a sign for you, but a seal of profound change. It says, "Everything is shifting. Do not fear. The chaos is necessary for what is being born." You realize 555 is God's message that your time of testing is complete. Everything that once fell apart is now being rebuilt. Not the same, but better, stronger, and truer. In silence, you pray, "Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And as those words leave your lips, warmth floods your being. Anger drifts away from your heart like smoke dissolving in the wind. You are no longer bound to the past. When you forgive, you do not set them free. You set yourself free. You remove the invisible chains that once held you in resentment. Because in that moment, you understand that forgiveness is not weakness, it is power. Psalm 37:8 says, "Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil." And truly, when anger fades, your light shines brighter. Those who once envied you are now facing themselves. They look around and see everything slipping away, realizing the problem was never you. The problem was their attempt to destroy the light they were meant to embrace. God does not punish them with fire or sword. He simply shines His light, and that light forces them to see their own darkness. You, the once wounded, have now become a witness to another miracle, the miracle of transformation. What once made you cry has become your prayer. The wounds that once bled have turned into glowing scars that tell the story of resilience. As you look back, you realize that even your enemies were part of God's plan. They were not sent to destroy you, but to refine you, to remind you that true light can never be extinguished. Without them, you would never know how deep your faith runs. Without them, you would never have learned to rise in silence, waiting patiently for heaven's justice to unfold. And once you understand that, everything within you changes. You no longer need to prove anything, nor to return any pain. You simply want to live, truly and peacefully. One afternoon, you walk past a still lake and see your reflection in the water. But instead of seeing someone wounded, you see a radiant soul surrounded by a light the world cannot touch. You smile softly. Finally, you understand the meaning of your journey. You were never made to be destroyed. You were made to shine. Psalm 27:1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" Those words are no longer a prayer. They are the truth of your life. The storm has passed. Those driven by envy fade away into the fog of their own guilt. And you, the chosen one, walk forward in a new light. Not the light of victory, but the light of inner freedom. You have walked through darkness to understand what light truly is. You have seen envy to know the value of kindness. You have forgiven to discover that real strength lies in letting go. And now, as a gentle wind moves through the air, you hear within your heart an unmistakable voice, the whisper of God Himself. You have been purified. Now step into the light of your purpose. After the darkness faded, you thought the journey was complete. But God does not let the soul stop at recovery. He leads you to a new land, not a place of battle, but a place of testing through love and surrender. Because true faith is not only believing when you are wounded, but also learning to love even after being betrayed. Time passes, and life begins to settle again. Everything seems to fall back into place, yet deep inside, a quiet fear remains, the fear of opening your heart, of being hurt again, of believing in goodness, only to lose it once more. You carry light within you, but you still keep a thin wall around your heart. And then, as always, God brings a lesson in an unexpected way. He no longer teaches through pain, but through love. Someone enters your life, gently, like a passing breeze. Not loud, not rushed, but enough to stir your heart. Their presence reminds you that your heart still knows how to beat, still knows how to trust. You resist. You think you are too tired to trust people again. You want to protect the peace you worked so hard to find. But God whispers, I did not bring love to break your peace, but to expand it. Psalm 37:4 says, Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. And the desire of your heart was never just justice, it was connection. Even a healed soul longs to be loved in the light, not to be rescued, but to be reflected. Because love is not a reward, it is the next stage of awakening. God wants you to learn how to love without fear, to trust without guarding yourself, to give without expecting in return. This is the final test, the test of surrender. You begin to open up, little by little. No rushing, no trying to impress, just being present. And strangely, when you stop trying to control, everything feels lighter. You laugh more, listen deeper, and realize that God is still teaching you, this time through gentleness instead of pain. But every true lesson comes with a challenge. As you learn to love, the past tries to pull you back. There are days when old memories return the faces of those who betrayed you, the lies, the looks of disdain. You grow afraid. A voice within whispers, what if this is just another illusion? What if you lose everything again? And then, in that fear, another voice rises, steady and calm. Do not let old pain decide how you love in the present. That voice does not come from others, but from your soul, the part of you God has awakened. Psalm 23:4 echoes in your memory. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Now the valley of the shadow is no longer betrayal or misunderstanding. It is the fear of love, and you are walking through it, not with defense, but with faith. One night, you sit by the window, watching the rain fall. Each drop hits the glass like the heartbeat of the earth. You think of everything, the past, the present, and the person somewhere out there, also learning how to love you in their own way. And suddenly, you realize you are no longer afraid. You understand that to love is not to risk, but to return to the soul's original nature, the pure light born from the Creator's love. Love is no longer an emotion, but a state of faith. Because when you love, even if it hurts, your soul opens. And when your soul opens, God's light flows in. You whisper, Lord, I don't want to control anymore. I don't need to understand everything. I only want to trust that whatever happens, you are leading me where I need to go. And in that moment of surrender, your heart grows light. Every wall falls away like the last leaves of autumn. Every fear dissolves in the warmth of faith. Then the number 333 appears, a mark of the new chapter. This time, you don't seek it. It finds you. 333, the number of guardian angels, the bridge between the human and the divine. It tells you that you are being guided, that your protector is closer than ever. When you see it, you know God is in every beat of your heart. And in that peace, you realize everything that once hurt you has become the foundation for real love. If you had never been betrayed, you would not understand honesty. If you had never been lonely, you would not know the value of presence. If you had never fallen, you would not know how to love with humility. Psalm 16:8 says, I keep my eyes always on the Lord. With him at my right hand, I will not be shaken. And now, you live by those words, loving without fear, trusting without worry, because your love no longer depends on human certainty, but rests safely in God's hands. Looking back, you see your journey as a perfect circle, from betrayal to solitude, from truth rising to justice fulfilled, from forgiveness to love. Each stage was a lesson of the soul, leading to one divine truth. Surrendering to the light is the truest victory. Now, you no longer need to know what the future holds. You only know that your heart is open, and that is enough. You love, not because someone deserves it, but because you have become the embodiment of love itself. And as you gently close your eyes, a voice echoes in your heart, soft as wind, clear as light. When you love without fear, you have entered my kingdom. When love opens its final door, the miracle begins. Not the kind that glitters, not grand dreams or flashes of wonder, but a quiet transformation, like a seed breaking open in the soil, like dawn gently touching the night. You realize you are no longer who you once were. Not just stronger, not just more peaceful, but renewed a being where the human and the divine meet, where your will and God's will move as one. Transformation does not arrive with noise. It comes when you look around and see that everything that once made you tremble is now just the wind. Those who hurt you are no longer ghosts in your mind. Painful memories no longer sting. They shine instead with understanding. You no longer need answers because you know everything has a divine reason. Psalm 18:28 reminds, "You, Lord, keep my lamp burning. My God turns my darkness into light." Those words are no longer a reminder, but a lived truth. The darkness that once covered you has become your source of light. It was by walking through the night that you learned to cherish the dawn. You begin to see the world differently. Every person you meet, whether kind or cruel, brings a lesson. Every event, no matter how small, is a link in the divine design. You no longer ask, "Why me?" but simply whisper, "I understand now, Lord." And in that moment, your soul moves in rhythm with the universe, in the rhythm of surrender and perfect trust. The tears you once shed now turn into light. They once fell from pain. Now they glimmer like crystals upon the skin of your soul. Every scar becomes a window to unconditional love. You see the world with eyes of compassion. Those who betrayed you, you pray for them, not with words, but with the energy of forgiveness. Because you understand, they were never evil, only unhealed. Psalm 103:12 says, "As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us." And you feel that deeply. When you forgive, the darkness lifts. When you release, your soul becomes light as air. You are not only saved, you are reborn. Then one quiet night, you step outside and look up at the sky. The moon is full, glowing like a great mirror. Its light touches you, and your heart trembles. You realize you are no longer the seeker, you have become what you were seeking. There is no longer I and you, only we. No line between the chosen and the one who chose. All has merged in the flow of infinite love. You remember every chapter: betrayal, solitude, truth, justice, envy, love. Each piece a fragment of the greater picture, and now the image is whole. Every moment was part of God's plan to bring you back to Him. The number 777 appears, glowing in the dark. You see it first on a license plate, then on a page, then in a dream. Not coincidence, you know that. 777, the number of spiritual awakening, the number of divine completion. It is the sign that your soul has passed the tests, seen the truth, and now walks in perfect union with the Creator. You whisper, "Lord, I no longer ask for anything. I only offer my gratitude." And within, you hear His voice. "You do not need to ask, for I have already given. You do not need to prove, for I have already chosen. You only need to shine, for your light is mine." Those words flow through you like living fire. Every fear, every limit, every sense of smallness dissolves. You feel that you are not merely human, but a beam of God's own light moving in human form. Psalm 36:9 says, "For with you is the fountain of life. In your light, we see light." You read it again, and tears fill your eyes, not from sorrow, but from awe. You finally know that through every shadow, God never left you. He simply guided you through the dark so you could find Him within yourself. Now, as you look around, everything glows brighter. The song of the birds is not just sound, it is the hymn of life. The morning sun is not just light, it is heaven's whisper saying, "You have returned." You feel yourself merge with the air, the earth, the wind, with every soul that is awakening. Transformation is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new state of being, the state of oneness. You no longer live for yourself, but as a vessel through which light flows. Every word, every action, every breath becomes a living prayer. You understand now, the awakened soul does not flee from the world, it returns to love it. For true light does not fear the dark. It shines to make the darkness a companion. You see that your purpose is not to rise above others, but to lift them with you. The world may not change in an instant, but you have changed. And when you change, the world within you changes too. Now you walk gently, carrying a quiet prayer in your heart. May the light within me reach every soul still asleep. And in that moment, you are no longer only the chosen, you are the awakener. The light within you no longer guides just your path, but also those still wandering in the dark. Psalm 112:4 says, "Light dawns in the darkness for the upright. He is gracious, compassionate, and righteous." You whisper that verse like a lullaby for your soul, a soul reborn that has learned to love, to forgive, to unite with the boundless mercy of God. And as the night wind passes softly around you, you hear the whisper, not from anywhere, yet everywhere. Remember, you are the light, and this light no one can ever extinguish. When the light within you becomes steady, the world begins to reflect what you carry. Everything looks the same streets, the same faces, but your soul knows everything has changed. You no longer see through the eyes of fear, but through the eyes of understanding. You no longer ask, "Why did they hurt me?" You begin to ask, "How can I love them?" The world is still noisy, still chaotic, but you no longer see it as a battlefield. You see it as a vast classroom where every soul is learning its own lesson. The betrayer is learning humility. The broken one is learning faith. And you, the chosen one, are learning the lesson of light, to shine without judgment, to love without demand, to exist without fear of loss. One morning, you stop in the middle of a crowded street, watching the flow of hurried faces. In each one, you sense an untold story, a fear, a dream, a fragile faith trying to keep its flame alive. And then you understand, every soul is on its way home, each walking a different road. Psalm 145:9 says, "The Lord is good to all. He has compassion on all He has made." And when you read that, you finally see that God never divided the world into good and evil. There are only souls at different stages of love. Those who hurt you, those who hate you, those who judge you, they are not against you. They have simply not yet seen the light within themselves. Now you become a mirror for them to see. Your light does not need to speak, it only needs to exist. When you walk with kindness, others will see their own shadows and begin to seek change. When you remain calm in silence, they will feel a peace that words cannot describe. This is how light spreads, not through preaching, but through presence. One night, you sit in prayer in a quiet room. You ask for nothing. You simply say to God, "Let me be an instrument in your hands. Let me speak when needed, be silent when I should, and love even when no one returns it." In the stillness, warmth spreads through your body. There is no separation between you and the prayer, only harmony. And in that moment, you know your soul has become a vessel of light. From that day on, everything you do carries the imprint of the Spirit. When you speak, your words no longer come from fear, but from love. When you touch someone, peace flows through your hands. When you look into the eyes of the suffering, they feel something, not your pity, but God seeing them through you. You begin to realize that being chosen was never about being exalted. It was about serving, to be living proof that no soul held by God can ever be destroyed. To remind the world that light still exists, and it lives in every heart that believes in goodness. Psalm 119:105 says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path. Now you walk not by calculation, but by guidance from within." Every step is a prayer. Every breath is gratitude. You no longer live to find happiness, you live as happiness. One day, As you meditate beneath a tree, the wind stirs the branches, and you hear a voice whisper, "You have walked through darkness. Now illuminate it." You understand, the journey does not end in personal awakening. It truly begins when the light within you becomes a lantern for others. You start to share your story, not as one recounting the past, but as one holding up a mirror for others to see themselves. You speak of pain, not to mourn it, but to show that suffering too is a path back to God. You tell them, no one is forgotten, no one is forsaken. Every tear is recorded, and God never makes mistakes. Then you speak of the sacred signs, the numbers that appeared along the way. 111, the new beginning, the soul's invitation. 222, balance, the reminder that you are never alone. 555, transformation, the change that proves every trial has purpose. And you tell those who listen, let your heart reveal which number stirs within you. If you feel the energy of 111, 222, or 555, share it, because it means your soul is awakening. As you speak, your voice no longer trembles. It is steady, warm, and alive like a flame. People do not listen with their ears, but with their hearts. Many cry not out of pity for you, but because they recognize themselves in your story. You end with a message. Heaven's justice never comes late. Every loss will one day turn into light. Every darkness was born so you could see how strong your light truly is. If you are walking through the night, believe morning is coming. And when it does, you will see that God has been with you all along. Psalm 30:5 says, "Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning." Those words have become your breath, the song your soul offers to the world. And as you pause, silent, looking into the faces before you, you see the greatest miracle of all. The light within you no longer belongs only to you. It has spread, touching thousands of hearts. Now, you are not just the chosen one, you are the messenger. A messenger of a simple yet eternal truth, that in every betrayal lies a chance to awaken, that in every shadow lies the seed of light, and that God sees all not to condemn, but to redeem. You look to the sky, the wind brushing through your hair, and you whisper, "May my soul forever be a song of praise to you." When the journey comes to a close, you no longer stand where you once were. The same sky stretches above you, the same road lies before you, but you are no longer the same. You are still deep and radiant from within. Life is no longer a battle between right and wrong, victory and defeat. It has become a symphony of faith, where every low note of pain joins every high note of grace. You have completed a sacred circle, from betrayal to forgiveness, from solitude to communion, from falling to awakening. And now you stand in the center of light, where you and God are no longer two separate beings, but one shared breath of love. That morning, the sky opened in a rare, soft blue. The sunlight fell gently on your shoulders, warm and tender, like God's hand resting upon your soul. You close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel that everything around you breathes in the same rhythm. The wind, the trees, the birds, they all seem to sing one familiar song, the song of peace. Psalm 29:11 says, "The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace." Now you understand more deeply than ever that peace is not a reward that follows the storm. It is the quiet wind that was always there, waiting for you to stop and listen. You begin to notice the small things you once overlooked: a stranger's smile, the scent of flowers carried by the breeze, the sparkle in a child's eyes on the street corner. All of them are signs of presence. The world has not changed. You have learned how to see God in everything ordinary. And once you see through those eyes, nothing is random anymore. Everything is sacred. Those who once caused you pain are no longer wounds. In your prayers, you speak their names, not to condemn, but to bless. May they see the light as I have seen it. It is no longer just words, but energy flowing from your heart, a pure, gentle force covering the world in love. The number 999 appears as a mark of completion. On the clock, 9 a.m. In your dream, 9 stars shining all at once. You know the old cycle has ended. 999, the number of divine closure, the number of a soul ready to begin anew. It says that every burden has been cleansed, every lesson learned. Now, you have only one purpose: to live fully in the light. Psalm 23:6 echoes in your heart. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Those words are no longer a distant promise, but the truth you live now. The house of God is not somewhere far away, it is within your heart. When you are in love, you are in Him. That afternoon, you sit by the water watching ripples shimmer under the setting sunday. The sun sinks slowly, leaving a final golden line, a thread of light connecting heaven and earth. You know it is the farewell of one cycle, the bow of the sun before the dawn of a new beginning. In the breeze, you hear a whisper. You have completed your work. You smile, not the smile of victory, but of understanding. You understand that everything that ever happened, even the darkest parts, was written to bring you here, to this moment of perfect peace. As night falls, you look up at the sky filled with stars. You no longer feel lost. You know each star is a soul learning to shine, just as you once did. You whisper a prayer for them. May every soul awaken. May every heart find the light. May no one walk through the darkness, forgetting that God is with them. Psalm 91:11 says, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." You recite it softly, like a lullaby. And in that moment, you feel invisible wings surrounding you, not to shield you from danger, but to remind you that you were never alone. Now you no longer seek signs. 111, 222, 555, 777, 999. They have all become one melody, resonating within your soul. You have come to understand that the entire universe has always been speaking to you in the language of love. And if someone hears this story today, let them know nothing you have lived was meaningless. No tear has fallen unseen by God. Every betrayal, every loss, every loneliness was a road leading you home. If right now, as you hear these words, your heart stirs, know that this is not someone else's story. It is your soul's story, awakening, being called home. Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Ask your heart, which number speaks to me today? 111, 220, 555, 777, or 999? Whichever one you feel close to is the message heaven has sent to you. Hold it as a promise that your soul is stepping into a new chapter, the chapter of light, peace, and truth. When you open your eyes, the world is still the same, but you are not. You no longer fear the dark because you have become the light. You no longer fear loss because you know everything taken will be returned tenfold. You no longer search for God because you have found Him in this breath, in your heart, in every soul you meet. And the story ends not with a period, but with a blessing. May you always remember that you are the chosen one. May you always keep the flame in your heart to light this world. And may the light of God, the light that never fades, be the path beneath your feet. For in the end, every journey leads to one place, the home of peace. And there, your soul whispers softly, I am home. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.